Hey love, so today we're going to be talking about failures, which are just life lessons. That's what I like to call failures, right? A lot of people don't like to look at it like that, but Queen A likes to call failures life lessons. And I'll tell you why I like to call them life lessons, because I feel like in order to grow, this is something everyone must overcome, whether you like it or not, all right? Because you have to understand first what failure is in order to overcome it, right? So let's go over the definition of failure, right? So the definition of failure is the lack of success or the omission of expected or required action, right? So the lack of success or the omission of expected or required action. And omission just means to leave out, right? So it's just a lack of success or when you're leaving things out, right? That requires action. So that sums up exactly what failure is. So get on in here today. I think that is something that me, you, and I think just about all of us around the world have experienced. Wouldn't you think? So get on in here and let's talk about this today. All right, so failure. I just want to tell y'all, in order to overcome failure, first off, you have to understand what it is. That's why the first thing I did was read y'all the definition, because a lot of times we get caught up in like feeling like we're a failure, right? We like, oh my God, I'm failing. I'm not doing this right. I'm doing that. But at the end of the day, let's face it. How many people actually took the time to look up the definition of failure so you can even kind of grasp what it means, right? How many? I'll wait. I didn't see a lot of hands. I know a lot of y'all didn't. It's okay, right? I didn't in the beginning either, right? So that's why I really wanted to go over this with you all, because this is important. In order for you to overcome anything, first, you must know and understand what that word means. So that means if you want to overcome, if you want to know what faith is, if you want to know what belief is, if you want to know what fear is, if you want to know what anything is, the first step Queen A always suggests is to do your research. Mean to find that word, get the definition, look up the definition of that word. Why? Because that will give you a better insight of knowing exactly what failure is. Because now we see that failure is a lack of success or leaving things out that require your action, right? So let's talk about that. A lot of us, let's go back. Let's say a lot of people failure. I like using relationships as far as mothers or fathers or things of that nature, right? Because let's face it, a lot of us can kind of relate to that. So which is why I like to relate things to, parents or teachers or, something that we all can relate to, or family right? Issues in general, right? So one of the first things I want to talk to y'all about is parenting, right? And failure. Because a lot of people, let's face it, when you first get pregnant or anything, you feel like you're going to be a failure, right? Or let's make it even better. When your kids become teens, right? That's when you start feeling the really real push button, right? That's when a lot of parents feel like, you know what? I'm done. I'm stressed out. I have failed. And then you say you're done and you're throwing the towel, right? But according to the definition we just heard, you don't fail until you decide to throw away the towel. Because once you decide to throw away the towel, guess what? That child requires your action. So when you throw in a towel, you are not giving that action that is required, which makes you a failure. So, and we're not saying that, we're saying which that action that you took is an action of failure, okay? Whether you like it or not. So when you stop wanting to participate, when you throw in the towel and you're like, oh, you know what? I'm overrated. I just don't want to do no more. That's when it becomes failure. So let's talk about that, which is something I like to dig into, because a lot of us, when our kids get teenagers, we just want to throw in the towel. You cannot throw in the towel when they are teenagers. When you throw in the towel, that's what is failure, okay? Throwing in the towel, that action is failure. You are not a failure. The action that you have taken, right, screams failure. Because failure is a lack of success. So if you feel like you're not successful at something and you throw away the towel, you automatically become a failure. But in another term, you don't even become successful until you keep trying. Meaning you have to keep trying in order to be successful. Success doesn't happen overnight, which is why the second part of that definition says what? When you leave out things that require action. So that means if you know Your child needs discipline, but you like, you know what? I'm just done. I don't feel like dealing with it no more. I did all I can. And you just stop. Then that's when it becomes an action of failure. No matter what. As a parent, we must take initiatives. So if one way don't work, we're supposed to try another way. If that way don't work, you try another way. But the goal is to keep on trying until you get it correct, right? Until you get it right. That is the whole goal. I want to talk about failure because a lot of us, we think that when we get to that point and we have tried, we think because we tried 80 million times that it doesn't, and something doesn't work, that it's okay to stop. But I don't know if y'all know about Ford, which is one of the main, automobile suppliers out here in the world. He had to try 80 million in one time, right? So it wasn't 80 million times. It wasn't until that 80 millionth and one, right? He said to go 80 million, he had to do one more. And then he got it correct. Meaning that a lot of times we're not going to get it right as individuals, right? That is okay. That is okay. The goal is to keep trying different ways until you succeed, right? The goal is not to try something one time and 2 times and 3 times and 4 times. And just because it didn't work the 5th time, you give up. That's not the goal. The goal is to keep trying and keep trying and keep trying until you get it right. No matter if you get frustrated. Matter of fact, through the frustration, that's when it matters the most. When you feel like putting your head down on a desk, that's when it matters the most. Not when you smiling, not when everything is going good. If you only banking on to be smiling, if you only want to banking on when things are going good, guess what? You already failed. Because guess what? The action that it requires is that you keep on going and going and going. Y'all ever, I don't know if y'all, how old y'all are. I might be telling my age with this, but we had an Energizer bunny. It was like a little bunny and it had batteries in there. And the little rabbit would be just keep stepping. And the thing was, it keeps going and going and going. Basically, the rabbit just keeps going and it doesn't stop, right? And that's what we as individuals have to learn to do. Whether it comes to parenting, whether it comes to our family, whether it comes to our job, whether it comes to pursuing a career, no matter what happens in life, our goal should be to keep going and going and going until you succeed. There is no such thing of failure until you haven't succeeded, right? Because it's a lack of success. So that means you haven't succeeded. And you only can't succeed if you give up. Right? Because y'all ever heard that one sing? What's the other song? Because if at first you don't succeed. Right? That's Aaliyah, right? Dust yourself off and try again. That's the truth. Dust yourself off and try again. Don't give up because you didn't succeed the first time. Don't give up because you didn't succeed the second time. Don't give up because you didn't succeed the 3rd time and the 4th time. Right? So you have to understand what failures are. Which are just life lessons. Failures are just life lessons. Meaning that the failures are things that you have to get over in order to grow, right? Failures are things that you have to see. Failures are the things, I'll tell y'all this, let me put it right. Failures are just things that don't work. So it guides you to show you what does work. Let me put it this way. Failure are just things that don't work to show you what does work. Meaning, in order to grow, you have to go through all these things. You're like, I tried going right. I tried going right. That didn't work. Let me going straight. That don't work. Turn to left. These things don't work. So I know if I didn't drove right, that didn't work. And I didn't drove up, that didn't work. I didn't drove left, that didn't work. Then I need to drive back. Right? I need to drive the opposite direction. And that will work. So I just did this video because I want y'all to understand that a lot of us we are not understanding even what keywords is that we're saying. We're saying we're failures, but we're not even understanding what we're saying. We're saying we already gave up. Because if you're a failure, that means you already gave up. That meaning that you're not even going to take the required actions that it takes in order to grow. Because that's what failure is. We read it. It's a lack of success, right? And leaving out actions that require you to grow, right? So whether expected or required actions, okay? Because you can't leave something out that you don't know about. So these are expected or required actions that you know that you must take in order to grow, but you haven't took them. That's what makes them become failures, okay? So once you understand that and you listen to that and you really apply that and you like read that and over and you see that, and then you can say, hold up, well, going back to that kid example, parenting example, hold up, I can't give up on my baby now because I'm not a failure. Am I a failure or am I not? Because you can't be in between. You either are or you're not. Can't be like, oh, I'm riding on the borderline. No, you either are or you're not when it comes to failure. If you are constantly trying, even if you ain't getting something right, as long as you're constantly trying, as long as you're constantly taking the required action that you need to take, then guess what? You're not a failure. As long as you are putting the action forward, you're not a failure. Once you stop and you say, you know what, I'm just tired, I'm overwhelmed, I'm frustrated, I don't know what to do, and you start doing, that's when it becomes failure, okay? See, the trick is they got us thinking that failure is when, you have tried something and it don't work. That's a failure. No. That's not failure. Them are actions. That's taking action, right? Them are taking steps. That's not failure. Failure is when you stop taking steps. Failure is when you stop taking the required actions, right? So failure is when you put it to a halt. That's failure. As long as you walking, putting in that action, guess what, baby? You ain't no failure. So I want to talk to all my people that feel like they was a failure. I want to talk to all my people that feel like they can't make it. I want to talk to all my people that feel like they are just not them. So that y'all think y'all failing. I want y'all to keep stepping. Keep taking the required action that you know you must take to get where you need to go. Right? Don't label yourself as a failure. Don't stop. Don't come to a halt. Don't become a failure because of what you think. Actions. Actions. Why do you think they say they speak louder than words? It's a reason for that. Right? You can say anything. Meaning, you can say, you know what? My child do this again, I'm going to discipline them because I ain't got time. I ain't got time for them to be out here disrespecting adults doing X, Y, Z. But then when that time come and they disrespecting an adult again, it's the action that you take behind it, right? That makes it something. Because if you say it again when they do it and you're like, you know what? You do it one more time and every time you do it one more time, then guess what? At that point, you have not took the required action. That's when it becomes, you come to a halt. That's when it's starting to become failure, right? You ever heard of the definition of insanity? It's doing something over and over again and expecting a different result. You can't be insane and succeed at the same time. Right? So, I just want y'all to know that in order to grow, no matter what you're doing, you have to overcome failures, right? You're never going to stop failing in life. Whatever you're doing, if you're growing a new business, guess what? It's going to be things that you're going to try that's not going to work. Don't let it bring you to a halt. Let it make you keep going. It's going to be things that you're going to do. It's not going to work. Don't let it make you come to a halt. Don't let it challenge you. Don't let it overcome you. Okay? So I hope y'all got something from this. I really do. So don't forget, failures are just lack of success or leaving things out that are expected or required actions. Things that you know you must do that you're leaving out. Right? That's what makes it a failure. Not being overwhelmed, not keep trying, and just because something didn't work out your way, that's not a failure. You built a robot, it didn't work right. That's not failure, right? You tried to make a macaroni dish this way and it didn't turn out the way you liked. That's not a failure. That's trying. That's success. Right? You still tried. And if you want to succeed at anything in life, guess what? You're going to fail a million times before you do. Ask all the greats. How many times did they fail? It wasn't once. It wasn't twice. It wasn't 3 times, ladies. But no, it was a couple of times. So you have to get comfortable. And I want y'all to get comfortable. Get comfortable with failing. Say it's okay. It's okay if I don't do my best. But I did it. You'll be proud that you did. Right? So I just want to talk to y'all a little bit about failures, okay? And I want y'all to understand that failure does not become failure until you stop and you come to a halt and you refuse to take the required or expected actions of you, right? Because you can't lack success if you're constantly trying, all right? So my name is Queen A. I hope y'all got something from this. Don't forget to like, subscribe to this channel, all right? And also make sure that y'all follow me on Facebook as well, okay? So Facebook is at is Ariel St. Clair. You can type in Queen A Speaks and it should pop up as well. Also, make sure that y'all join my Each One Motivates One. It's a free community on Facebook that I'm building up. If you want to join that, simply comment, add me, and I'll add you. We're going to be doing a lot of things. We're going to be meeting up to work out. If you're in the Cincinnati, Ohio area, if you're not, we'll still go live for you. You can still meet us there and have a great time in the morning as well, okay? But I really want y'all to join that platform. Type add me and I'll add y'all because it's going to be great things coming, good things. And if you need a community that's going to help uplift you, that's going to be the place for you. All right, so love you all. Nobody else loves you. Wow.